Just dropped all of them. Oh, that's funny. It's gonna be a doozy. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and welcome to Shelby Reads. I am a femme for a butch lesbian. I've been with my wonderful butch wife for almost 13 years now, yay us. And today I'm going to be talking about all of my LGBT fall TBR for 2025. I'm not usually a mood reader, but I'm in the mood, and part of the reason is because I kind of made a TikTok. I committed to some of these books. And then another reason is there was supposed to be a rant review today, but I am sick and there's no way I can talk for like 4 hours. I think I can maybe manage 1 or less. So let's get to it. Now again, because I'm not usually a mood reader, I had already started to read some of these, so there's a couple that I've already read. I'll briefly tell you about them. Also, there's a large amount of books in here, and I've had people on my YouTube ask me before how I read so much. I have an overnight job where as long as the people I'm taking care of are asleep, I can do whatever I need to do. And so I just read, and so that's how I'm able to read so much. Also, reading is my main hobby, and I really enjoy doing it, so that's how I'm able to read so much. Don't beat yourself up if you can't read as much as me, okay? Okay. So the first book I've read for fall so far is The Black Queen by Jumata Emil. This book is a YA thriller or mystery. I'm not really sure exactly how to categorize it, but basically Nova Albright is elected to be the first ever Black homecoming queen at her still deeply segregated high school, and she is murdered, and the prime suspect is a white student who tried to bully her out of becoming homecoming queen because she wanted it really bad and felt entitled to it. And also she was caught on camera because her friends were recording her saying she wanted to kill Nova like hours before it happened. So the unlikely team of Nova's best friend, Duchess, who is a lesbian, and Tinsley, the girl who made the terrible video, are trying to figure out who actually killed Nova. Honestly, mysteries and like thrillers are always fun for me because I never predict who it's actually gonna be unless it's like super mega ultra obvious. And I think that this book is highly underrated. It really talks a lot about racism and also how like your own hurt and trauma can kind of blind you from what's really important when it comes to actually getting justice for something. But it also really held the white characters accountable, and I really enjoyed that also. It had a very like complex take on the criminal justice system, and this book is highly underrated. This is one of my favorite reads so far of the year, and I give it 5 stars. Talk a little bit about it in my reading wrap up too, but you guys should really read this one. Next, I read Off With Her Head by Dana LeeAnn. It is a Alice in Wonderland retelling. It's like a dark adult romance, and it also has a little bit of Snow White in it. I don't know. This one is actually getting a much fuller rant review coming out. This is the rant review that was supposed to be here, but the script is done. I just can't record, so it is what it is. I did not have a fun time overall with this book, so I really would not recommend it, but if you don't want to miss hearing about this rant review, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little bell notification, okay? It really helps the channel. We're creeping towards 100 subscribers. I'm so excited. But also that book is like heavily marketed as enemies to lovers / rivals, and it's not. It's really insta-lovey. It's not as dark as it wants you to think it is. Like the dark elements fall off really quickly. I really wouldn't recommend it unless you're like really bored, but it's neither here nor there. It's not the worst dark romance I've ever read, but it's certainly not the best either. Take that as you will. The last one that I've finished is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is a horror novella, and it's a retelling of the fall of the House of Usher. This is a really short one. It's only like 160 something pages. It was so good. I'm begging you guys to go read it. If you're in like a reading slump, it was really good. I think it really incorporated some nasty body horror really well. I think there were a lot of interesting LGBT characters, and overall I actually really enjoyed the writing style, and I put the next 2 on my TBR even though they hadn't been on there. I really enjoyed this book. I gave this one 5 out of 5 too. You guys should really check it out. And now there's one that I've just started. I'm only a third of the way in. It's The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. It is a it's like fantasy, but it's also historical. It's also horror. There's a lot going on in this one. But we are in the POV of 3 different, I think they're all queer so far. I mean, one of them might not be, but 2 I know for sure are queer women in like this Middle Ages castle that is under siege from the outside, and it has been under siege for so long that they are running out of food. They only have 15 days left of food. And the POVs are the lord who has the castle's like mad woman. She like broke away from the religion because because she believes more in like alchemy and stuff, and so she's perceived as a heretic, but she figured out how to filter the water system, so they believe that she can hopefully figure out how to get them food. The second one is the Knight of the King, who was also kind of a war hero. She's kind of going restless and a bit crazy though, because she's basically the king's lapdog now. And then the third one is someone who is trying very hard to stay out of the sights of everybody, and who actually has like an interesting relationship to the knight in the past, but she is trying to find a way out. She's hoarding food, she's doing like all these really interesting and kind of crazy things, but she also wants revenge. I'm really enjoying it, and I think, I'm just saying right now, if you like Harrow Harknonagesimus, you are going to love one of the main characters of this. I literally was reading it and I was like, Harrow Hark? Like, not so much that it's like plagiarism or anything, but like, I really appreciated that I could kind of see her in this character. It's a really good read so far. I will get back to you on my reading wrap up to let you know how it goes. The next one on my TBR is Bewitch. Like, there's a little asterisk, it's like censored. It's a YA fantasy book. One of the characters is a new girl at school, and she gets taken in by one of the covens, but there's another rival coven situation going on. But when one of them is murdered, the two rival covens have to work together in order to figure out who did it. I actually bought this because I saw the second one deeply discounted at my Books A Million, and I was like, you know what, I'll check thrift books, see how cheap it is. It was pretty cheap, so I was like, okay, we'll get that one too. We'll see how we like it. But it's always nice to have really nice witchy vibes for fall. I love horror, I love witches, murder, like fictional murder obviously. Necromancy is one of my favorite things, honestly. You should go check out my what to read during the Electopause video if you want, if you're into the Locked Tomb. But yeah, I'm excited to read about some witches. Another one that I forgot that I'd already started, this is Ordinary Love by Maria Rutkoski. This is a literary adult novel, and the reason I forgot is because it's for my Sapphic book club, and we actually picked my pick this time. I'm loving it so far. We're about like halfway into the book, and I really like Maria Rutkoski anyway because I loved The Midnight Lie and The Hollow Heart, which is the sequel to that. She has a very unique ability to completely emotionally devastate me. So if you like that, I think you would like this book, and I think you would like her YA duology, which is The Midnight Lie and The Hollow Heart. I will probably also have one more book club book in fall, but like I don't know what it's gonna be because we haven't voted yet. I think voting is next week maybe. So please remember that this TBR is a little tentative, but not by that much. I'm also going to be reading 2 Carmilla retellings, Hungerstone by Kat Dunn and My Carmilla, a Sapphic vampire romance by Anita Zara. I'm actually reading them for a video that's going to come out in October. Carmilla is probably my favorite classic of all time, except maybe Frankenstein or Wuthering Heights. I really like those also, but it's still one of my favorites. And so I wanted to do like a talk about a bunch of different Carmilla retellings, particularly in books, so keep your eyes out for that if you're interested. But Carmilla is very deep to my heart, and these are both Carmilla retellings. And a lot of people know Carmilla as like the predatory vampire story, like predatory lesbian vampire stereotype. I would really urge people to read it because I do think that it subverts that trope quite well, like the original work, but I do think that it spurred on some very homophobic offshoots throughout the centuries. That being said, I still think you should give the regular Carmilla a try also because it's a tiny novella and I liked it a lot. It's very good in my opinion. The next one is a YA horror called Where the Darkness Blooms by Andrea Hanna. This book is about a town in which women go missing, and is about the story of 3 different girls who are trying to figure out what's going on. One of them specifically has lost their mother and their girlfriend to whatever is going on. I love a good YA horror. This was very heavily recommended to me, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I really like the cover and like the creepy sunflowers and plants stuff going on. I always find plant horror to be kind of gross and disgusting, especially when it merges with body horror, so I'm very excited to give this one a try. This one I have been putting off for a while. It is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. This is a fantasy horror and it's about mermaids. So basically a ship went out into the sea and it did not come back, and they were actually out at sea to make a mockumentary, and now there is like a new crew that is assembling to try and do the same thing, and I am really excited for this. The reason why I put it off is simply because of like how long it is, and every time I'm like ready to read it, something else that I'm more excited about comes up. But I am going to be reading it this time, I promise. Keep me accountable in my comments. You see my shorts or my TikToks, yell at me. Next is another YA. It is Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Faridah, Àbíké-Íyímídé. Sorry, I had to cough. This is a YA contemporary mystery. The main character's roommate at the school goes missing on the very first night, and as if that's not enough, there's a lot else going on. Like, she's being pulled into this group of girls, and then one of the students turns up dead. I really love books like this where there's like a mystery and a murder and like a creepy setting, like a school. I really enjoy that, so I really hope this one lives up to what like Black Queen has already set for me. But I've heard amazing things about this one on Book Talk, so I have really high expectations. I'm super excited to read it. You should give it a try too. Another one that I'm planning on reading is Captive in the Underworld by Lianyu. This one is like a dark fantasy romance. It is a retelling of Hades and Persephone, but it is sapphic. I am planning to do like a long form review on this one, so please keep your eyes out for that. That's gonna be in October also. I am desperately trying to find dark romance that I really enjoy, because like I like horror, I like thriller. I don't have to be like off put by like the dark elements necessarily. It's just that like a lot of the trigger warnings are wrong, and a lot of like assault is romanticized when it shouldn't be, like particularly when there's no like acknowledgement to the audience that like this is really bad. The only kind of good one I've read is Queen Takes Rose by Katie Robert, but I had more like plot problems with that one, so I didn't give it higher than like a 3. But I'm hoping one of the dark romances I'm choosing will fix this for me. I have several, so fingers crossed. The next one is another YA. It is called Raising the Horseman. It is a YA horror. I was so shocked because this is a Disney one and it is sapphic. And I love a Sleepy Hollow retelling. I really loved Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, even though we now know Tim Burton is terrible. But I still really liked that movie. I really thought it was like visually very pleasing and the plot was nice. So I'm very excited to see how this one does. Honestly, I saw that Headless Horseman one that I think Disney did like a long time ago, and it gave me nightmares for forever as a kid. So I am really looking forward to like trying another Headless Horseman Sleepy Hollow retelling. So the next one I'm going to read that I am going to discuss in detail on this channel also is Collateral Damage by Shassii. This one is so interesting to me because it is tagged as like an erotic thriller rather than a dark romance, and that gives me like a wildly different expectation than it would if this was like labeled as a dark romance, if you know what I mean. I feel like Natalie on Weirdo Book Club has talked about this a lot. So one of them is like a clown and she's like killed people before and she's like out for vengeance and blood, and then the other person is just kind of like an innocent bystander, wrong place, wrong time kind of situation, and it turns into like a Stockholmy obsessed mess. And I am really excited to read it because again, it's erotic horror and I feel like I don't have to have the same expectations that I would of dark romance. So I'm super thrilled to be reading that. I already bought it. Super excited. So that's going to be probably late October, so keep your eyes out for that. I'm very excited to do a review on that one. The next one that I want to read is The Invocations by Krystal Sutherland. This is also a YA horror. So it seems like there are 3 different main characters, and one of them specifically wants to believe in magic because she cannot accept that her sister was murdered for no reason and that she can't come back. The second one is the daughter of a billionaire who is cursed, and you know what I say, you reap what you sow when you're related to billionaires. And then there's also an orphaned witch. So I am not as excited about this one simply because I read one of her other books and I didn't love it. I read The House of Hollow and I think I just gave it like a 3. Like, it was fine. It just wasn't for me. So I'm less excited about this one, but I don't know if you can see this awful like weird sticker spot, but I got it from Ollie's for like a couple bucks, so I was like, I'll try it. I'll give her another shot. I don't think the other book was written poorly. I just think that like I didn't like it. It wasn't for me, but we're gonna try this one, see if we like it any better. The next one is The Antlered King by Marianne Gordon. Now this is the second one in the series. It's a duology. The first one is called The Gilded Crown, and you're like, Shelby, this one seems like a lot less spooky than some of the other ones. This one actually has a very interesting magic system that primarily the main character is focused around necromancy and bringing people back from the dead, but bringing people back from the dead has horrifying consequences. And so she brings back the princess early on in the first book. It's literally on the back, I'm not really spoiling anything, and then they keep making her bring the princess back over and over and over and over. So I'm super excited for this book because I absolutely love that. Necromancy is one of my favorite things ever. I think it's so fun. When I play like Baldur's Gate, I'm trying to be a necromancer. I really can't wait to read this one. I have such high hopes. I'm so excited. Next is a YA called Extasia by Claire Legrand. This is a YA horror. So this one, as far as I can tell, is like a super religious horror that it takes place in a cult, and so the main girl does see like two girls kissing in the woods and like some monsters and some stuff like that. I am less excited about this one simply because the lesbians, let's be real, are not the main characters, but I'm still kind of excited to read it because I find cult horror so fascinating as someone who didn't grow up religious. So I am still looking forward to it. I've heard some pretty good things about this one, and I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. This one is another YA. It's called Not Good for Maidens. It is by Tori Bovolino. Sorry, the font is a little... It's like that gothic font that I love, but that is a little hard to read. So this one is all about how there is like a goblin market under the city, and the girl's aunt kind of falls for a goblin and then goes to live with the goblins, but this girl wants to get her back. But apparently they will also have to be like confronting their family's past, and it will be like, I've heard really good things about this one. It seems so interesting to me. I love the cover. I love creepy, weird weird stuff. I don't know. So I'm hoping it's good. Let's hope for the best for all of these, honestly. Next I have In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. So something that this one says on the back that I think is very interesting is she accidentally reveals her magic to save a life, and then she's bound to one of the undead and thrust into a world of palace intrigue and deception. And so like I've heard amazing things about this one. Also, I get a lot of really great recs from like my mutuals, so I'm hoping that this one will keep me happy also. It stinks to be bored, you know? Also, it's a like YA horror fantasy. I'm sick, leave me alone. This is the last YA I have. It is The Dead in the Dark by Courtney Gold. This is a YA thriller. So it says teenagers are disappearing, some turning up dead, the weather isn't normal, and all fingers point to TV's most popular ghost hunters who have just come to town. I'm super excited to read this. I loved, this is really niche, I don't care, Life is Strange, which was a video game that kind of took place on the Pacific Northwest. So I really love that kind of setting. I've never been there, so like my mind loves trying to imagine like what it looks like and how creepy it could be, especially since it rains all the time. I have heard amazing things about this one. I'm excited to read it. And the last one I have for my TBR is The Warden by Daniel M. Ford. This is an adult fantasy. I've kind of heard this described as like a cozy fantasy. However, the reason I picked this one, and you'll never guess, it's necromancers. Of course it is. Of course it's necromancers. I love necromancy. So she wanted to train to become one of the kingdom's only women necromancers, but things don't go quite as she wants them to, and I'm very excited to read this one. This is a 3-book series, so if I like it, I'll keep going. I mean, sometimes even when I don't like it, I keep going, but I'm super excited to read more necromancy. There needs to be more Sapphic necromancy, even if I have to write it myself. Tell me what you guys are reading this fall. I really want to know. I love getting more Sapphic recs. I have a ton of Sapphic horror like on my TBR shelves. I have 2 TBR shelves, and then I also have a ton on my Kindle, but I just can't fit it all. And for autumn, I'm also kind of including November. I know that might be controversial, but in New Hampshire, I feel like you have to count it or nothing matters. If you made it this far, please leave some autumn leaves emojis. Tell me how you're getting rid of whatever this awful sickness one of my people at work gave to me spread to me. Like, tell me if you have any remedies for this, because I've been pumping Mucinex like there's no tomorrow and it's not working. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I will see you guys next week for my reading wrap up, and then I will be back on the horse hopefully for rant reviews. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!